So I want to share with you guys this one sentence that completely changed my life. But first, a message from my sponsor. Wait a minute, I don't have any. Okay, so what is this one sentence? What are these 7 magical words that I'm talking about? Well, listen to this. Until you do or don't, you can. And I know that seems really simple and completely unmagical, but I promise you it is. The first thing I want to point out is the emphasis on choice. First, you want to choose something you want to do. It can be anything, big or small. And then you either do or you don't do that thing. And until that happens, you can do that thing. It remains a possibility for you. Now, this emphasis on choice is really empowering. It makes you basically in control, which is the second part of it, control. Too many times in my life, I've tried to do something and achieve a goal that relied on elements that were completely out of my control. So that's really important that you take that into consideration. For instance, with this YouTube video, the task and goal I set before myself was to record this video and upload it. I have complete control over that, barring any super crazy extenuating circumstances. Nothing's actually going to stop me from doing that except for me. So I have near 100% control of whether or not I take and record this video and then upload it to YouTube. So the next part you have to understand is there are things that can keep you from achieving your goal. And the trick is to recognize those things. And the rule I use is the transition from control to influence. When do I stop having control over an outcome? And when do I start to just have influence over that outcome? And if you pay attention, there's a pretty distinct threshold there. For instance, with this YouTube video, I have pretty much complete control of whether or not I record it, upload it, edit it if necessary. All of those things are all on me. Once I upload that video, I then do not have control over how many times it gets viewed, liked, commented on. None of that stuff is within my direct control. I do have influence over those things. For instance, I can share the link to the video on social media platforms. I can tell my friends and family about it. I can do any number of things to influence the amount of views it gets, the amount of comments it gets, but only to an extent. Because ultimately, it's out of my control. I can only influence it. The video may go viral, but that is not within my control to make it do that. So understanding that threshold when control transitions into influence, that's what I call the stopping point, the break point. That's where you stop, you take a break, you assess whether or not you want to then set a new task or goal or a completely different task or goal. And what I mean is, if I stay in the theme of this YouTube video, I've already uploaded it. I'm now well within the realm of influence, out of my control. So I can then use that information to say, well, what do I want to happen with this video? What are the things I can influence? And then I can set a new goal, a new task. And normally these are very small tasks. Like I mentioned, telling people about it, sharing it on social media. Those are all goals, tasks that I can complete that will allow me to further achieve things, further achieve goals, even really small ones, but they're still within my control. Sharing it on social media is within my control. But at a certain point, I might run out of those things to do. So maybe it's time to say, okay, we're going to let this run its course, and I'm going to start something else. So understanding that transition point is kind of key. And you can take this and apply it to any number of tasks, any number of goals, where when you can say, I have the choice to do this or not do this, and until I make that choice, I can do this. That is what this principle is all about. Notice in that sort of mentality, in that path of action, there's no failure involved in there, because you're only doing the things you can control. Then you're taking and looking at what you might be able to influence and adding more things that you can control. So one other thing I want to add is avoid the slippery slope of why. What I mean by that is you're going to want to know why things don't have the outcomes that you want. When you transition into the realm of influence, keeping things on topic with this video, why didn't my video get views? Why aren't more people liking? Why aren't more people commenting? Now, you can ask those questions and you might find answers. But the second you come to a point where you really don't know the answers, that's another sign for you to transition to something else. When you can no longer answer yourself why, move on, because you don't want to get stuck down that path of overanalyzing and trying to figure out why things aren't going the way you want them to go. You've already done the things you have control over. You've accomplished your task. Therefore, you did not fail. You finished something. You completed it. You can move on. You can be proud that you completed something, especially with even, small projects. Like, you can be proud of the small little things you do. And the last thing I want to say is be careful not to begin with a task or a goal that already exists within the realm of influence. Don't start off looking to achieve something that you require other people, in particular other people you don't even know, to do something for you to achieve that goal. And I'm not talking about, don't run a business where you have employees, or don't take on help for completing something. It's okay to rely on other people in that way. But what I mean is, when you first have a goal for this plan, do not choose something that immediately requires other people to perform an action for you. More often than not, you will find yourself to be very disappointed, and it has nothing to do with the character of other people. It's not that nobody wants to help or do their part. It's that you're choosing the wrong goal. Start with something you have control over. Every time you get to that point where you enter the realm of influence, go back and find something that you have control over. All right? And don't forget, until you do or don't, you can. Catch you later.